stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh!
And welcome to Monday. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, sir.
Chris, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I am fantastic. You know why?
Why?
Because there's no kings now in this country.
Wait a minute. So the rallies worked.
The rallies worked.
Stopped all the kings.
Stopped every king that we had here.
That's fantastic.
It was an unbelievable weekend. I mean, I couldn't believe that a few, 2-3 people that showed up to some of these local events actually did a really great job and convinced Donald Trump, the king, to walk away.
They kept all the kings away so Donald Trump could lead. I appreciate it. Even
Well,
the president appreciated it.
Well, that's the thing, is that now it's not the king, it's President Trump. So we're
That's
good.
right. That's right.
Look what he said.
He thanked them.
A huge thank you to all the No Kings protesters yesterday. Very concerned. A king was trying to take my place, but thanks to all your tireless efforts, I am still your president. Great job, all. Way to go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President.
And thank you to everybody that showed up. It was really a great event for so many, and
That's right.
they accomplished nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. Zero. But it is funny now to watch the aftermath and the videos that have surfaced from the event.
Sure.
I sent you one earlier.
Yeah, let me find it.
These are the kind of people that you're dealing with. I've been arguing with people all day long, of course, like
Of course
I
you
usually
have.
do on Cleveland.com's Facebook page and everything else. Well, Marcus. Oh, homesick today, tested positive for COVID. I'll tell you what, man, I think I had it last week. I had it for like 2 weeks.
And I can't believe you didn't die.
I was literally sick for like just over about 2 weeks, solid.
How did you not pass away from such a deadly disease?
All right, well, now we're going to get banned on YouTube again. Just when our numbers were getting good. But I couldn't smell for like 3 days, 4 days, and then I literally I could not stay awake. Like I was sitting at work, and I had to like lay back, and I had a fan on me because it's so hot in the studio, and
right.
I just sat there and I fell asleep like a half a dozen times, like while I was working, because I could not stay awake. I was so sick.
Yeah, you may have had COVID.
I may have. I didn't test because
who cares? It's the flu.
Because it's like getting sick. Anything else, you get sick and you move on.
You get sick, you lay down, you take a nap, you're fine.
I asked the doctor, said what kind of symptoms or what should I do with the if I do have COVID? Well, you're just going to address the symptoms that you have. Take, stuff for a cough, take stuff for a sore throat, take stuff for whatever, and then it'll pass. I said, okay, thank
Couple
you.
of squirts of Afrin and some NyQuil.
That was good to go, man. But it sucked. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It wasn't
Of course
pretty.
it sucks.
It wasn't fun, but I do feel like 110,000% better today
Well, that's
than
good.
I did all last week.
Well, that's good.
So happy about that.
Here's your guy, by the way.
Oh, yeah. All right. So this guy was at one of the anti-Trump, no king rallies,
Yes.
doing his civic duty to protect us all in this great land of ours from King Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they have a little booth set up here. And it kind of reminds me of the Lucy and the Peanuts series.
You know what I find funny about this whole thing? And we'll play the video here in a second. But you know what's the most funny about this?
Yeah.
These are the same exact people that will scream a storm when you tell them that they've got TDS.
Oh, yeah.
When you say you've got Trump derangement syndrome, they're like, fuck you, that's not even a real thing.
Right.
And then you see this.
They think that they are perfectly sane people.
Yes.
That have no problems, no issues, and that we're the fucked up ones.
Yeah.
That we're the cult members.
Mm-hmm.
We want this country to go down. No, we want this country to actually succeed.
Yes.
So this is what we're dealing with on the left.
This is a person that does not have TDS.
No TDS here. Nothing to see here.
No TDS.
Okay.
We were just talking about it this morning.
No! Dog! Fat boy! Fat! No!
What a fucking loser.
This is what we're dealing with. These are the people that are out there among us, and we see them every day, and they don't. They kind of blend in. They try to blend in, but I know this fucker. Fuck this guy. I will recognize this guy for the rest of my life.
I just love, but God forbid if you walk up to that guy immediately after he beat the Trump doll, he'll say, "I don't have TDS. What are you, an asshole?" He's totally deranged.
And yes, Habu, July 4th is the real No Kings rally. That's when we actually did, independence from real kings.
Yes.
Not the fake ones that they left. Play that again, please. I get my anxiety is lifted just by watching him.
We were just talking about it this morning.
No! Dog! Fat boy! Fat! No!
Now, was that at a No Kings rally, or was that the opening act at the Funny Stop on Thursday?
That's Mike Chisulka right there.
It's part of his act.
It's his entire act right there. But yes, No Kings. Look at this. What is it? I don't even know what it says up there. Trump-induced anxiety help.
I think it's Thera-Trumpy, Trump-induced.
Thera-Trumpy. Look at that. They even make up their cute little words.
Yeah. Free in desperate times.
It's so scary, man, that these people are actually out there.
Fucking idiots.
We, as Trump, well, you're not a Trump guy.
I'm not a Trump guy.
But myself, as a Trump supporter, are out here supporting the country because we don't want to see, illegals raping, killing our own.
Right.
We don't want illegals here, period, because they're actually a drain on the economy and everything else. But whatever. I think New York spent something like $9 billion of taxpayer dollars. Mm-hmm. And that was a while ago that Mayor Adams gave that figure. $9 billion of taxpayer money on illegals, and that's one city alone, in their city. And yes, I don't want that. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry that I want stuff. I don't want to wave Mexican flags in America. I don't want to be
No.
burning the American flag in this country. On the day that we were celebrating not only Flag Day, but we were also celebrating the 250th birthday of our fantastic Army. And did you watch the parade?
No.
It was amazing. I mean, it had vehicles and servicemen in our uniforms from all periods from when it started.
I've
From
actually
World War
marched
II.
in those parades. I don't need to watch them.
Well, I mean, that's fine. But I did. And it was spectacular. And it was
Sure.
a great honor to those men and women who have fought for our country.
Sure.
I mean, a great honor. And at the time that is going on, you got a fucker like this who's beating a Trump doll because he's a douche.
This idiot. I turned the sound down so we could talk over it.
Hey, look at this.
Dad, how old is this man? 60? 70?
Again, while we're celebrating our armed forces and the Army, this guy's banging a fucking Trump doll up against a chair. 'cause
But
he's
let's not
angry
just
about
brush
something.
up past him just because he's a lunatic. This is a guy with 60 to 70 years in this country.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is an adult male that's supposed to act like an adult. This is how this fucking idiot adults.
Who may have served.
He may have served. This guy's old enough to have served in the Korean War, probably.
Civil War.
Civil.
It just makes me sick, dude. It really does. It makes me sick.
You will tax my tea. You will tax my tea.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance because I was working. Yeah, I didn't have a chance to look today because I saw some while I was working, but I didn't have a chance to pull any other videos. But I guarantee you on X or whatever, there's fucking video after video of these fucking morons, dude. I mean, they asked one kid who was at one of these rallies. He had a sign saying "No more tyranny,"
Okay.
and then the guy who was interviewing him goes, "So, what does that mean?" Well, it means no more tyrannical leaders.
Right. Thanks.
And the guy goes, "So, what exactly does that mean?" Well, I don't know. What has Trump done that is tyrannical? I don't know. I was just told to be here and hold the sign, and this is what I believe because I don't want Trump, being a tyrant. It was the most comical thing you've ever seen in your life because this kid had no fucking clue what he was talking about, and I guarantee you, a lot of those idiots out there protesting were the same way.
Yeah.
Now, I got called out today by she's actually a friend, and she's in the music business, I guess, more Live Nation business.
Mm-hmm.
And I like her. I like her a lot. I think she's a very nice lady. I'm not going to say her name or anything like that, but she called me out saying, "Why do you have to call people names when you say stuff on Facebook?" I said, "Why?" I was because if you look at the posts, look how many times I've been called a racist, a homophobe, a cult member, an asshole, stupid, retarded, and the list goes on and on. I said, well, I'm not going to sit back and let people just say that to me without firing back a little bit. I'm sorry. I mean, this is what I get called on a day-to-day basis. Why? Because I support the president of the United States. I was like, when Biden was in office, I made fun of Biden on the show all day long.
Sure.
But I never went on Facebook and said, "You're a fucking moron, you douchebag." I didn't do that.
Right.
I didn't sit there and argue and scream at people until people started criticizing the guy that I voted for because they are so childish, dude. One guy posted, "Well, he smells like pee." What are you, 12?
Who does? You do or
Trump.
Trump does? Oh, how do you know?
Well, that's what I said. But I mean, these people are nuts, dude. I got banned and kicked off of the WNIR Facebook page.
It's funny.
Why? Because I pointed out the false stories that some of these people kept posting.
Sure.
And so one of these idiots reported me, apparently, and I got banned.
You are no longer welcome to the Talk of Akron.
Oh, my God. What am I going to do now? Holy shit, dude. I think I think this show reaches more people than fucking WNIR does.
I'd say did last Wednesday.
Yeah. Looks like we're back to reality, though.
Yeah, we're back to reality. Nobody's watching. We had a good moment.
We had one good day. Man, YouTube was cranking out the listeners that day. But
That's right. All right, check these guys out. This is what you were asking for, guys that have no idea why they're protesting. Here you go.
Put your cowboy hat on, fucknuts.
I am at the No Ice protest here in Denver, Colorado, here at the state capitol.
Trump's a bitch.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. We don't like him. That's the word around here.
Any particular reason why you don't like him?
No clue at all. I'm just going with everybody else saying.
Just go with what everybody
you
else
hear that
is
guy?
saying.
I mean, that guy is like the epitome of a typical fucking liberal, dude. Why here? I don't know. Because I was told not to like Trump. That's what everybody else is saying. So I don't
Seemed
like
fun.
Trump. I had nothing
Seemed
else
like
to do.
something cool to do, so I'm doing it.
I ain't working, so why not?
All right, here's more. There's so
People
many
just
of these, it
support
ain't
these
even
guys.
funny.
All right, let's keep it. Yeah, I don't know. I can do this all day.
Here we go.
I am a proud Mexican immigrant from Puebla, Mexico.
Fuck Donald Trump.
Yeah.
There's Tim Hernandez right there.
Janet Luis Guerra.
Wait a second.
Would you say
Now, do you realize that idiot was sitting there saying, fuck Trump, the president of the United States, while he's holding a Mexican flag?
Yes.
Now,
In
you
our
know what
streets.
happens if you cross the border, you go over to Mexico, you're waving an American flag, and you say, fuck the president of Mexico, your ass is getting shot and dragged through the streets.
Yeah. Try it anywhere else.
Anywhere else but here.
Anywhere else but here. Maybe England. I think you can get away with it in
You
England.
might be able to get away with it over there. Might. Wait a second. But England is throwing people in jail for their Facebook
For their
posts.
Facebook post, yeah. Because Facebook is not policing the Donald Trump people.
So that guy is waving a Mexican flag saying
Yes.
"fuck Trump" on the
Right.
streets of the U.S. Have the balls, you bitch, to cross the border on south and try that in Mexico, waving an American flag, talking
Yeah.
shit about their president.
Start
Your
a
ass will
rally.
be shot. You
Start a
dumb
rally.
bastard.
And stop being a faggot hiding behind your mask.
Well,
Faggot bitches.
so there was two protesters that were actually on like the corner of Brecksville Road by where I live.
Mm-hmm.
On the Brecksville like common area by the gazebo and stuff. They had like signs that said "abolish ICE."
Okay.
And so my wife and I were passing them, and at the same time, I knew I married the woman of my dreams because we both fucking flipped them off at the same time. And then I yelled out the window, "What the fuck are you wearing a mask for, you bitch?" And we went back 15 minutes later, they were gone.
Of course. You want more of these
Oh, I
These
want to. Yeah, I want 'em all.
inspirational patriots?
Oh, yeah, they're patriots. I love them.
All right, here we go.
say any immigration law is an unjust law?
I'm for open borders, man. No people are illegal anyway. This is all our planet.
And do you think that would work out well for America to have open borders?
Whatever would happen, would happen.
Question, do you have locks on the doors of your house?
They don't really work.
I mean, if anybody came into your house, would you ask them to leave?
No, I'm done with this.
Y'all got your...
When you ask them a reasonable question, they can't answer it.
Well,
Because
because
they're
there's no
fucking
reasonable
retarded.
answer to the question. That's the problem.
I don't get it. These idiots with masks in 2025. Yep. That's what's happening there, man.
Here's another patriot.
But seriously, you ask any liberal, do you have doors or locks on your doors? Well, of course.
Fuck you! I'm not talking to you, asshole.
Will you leave the doors open at night? Fuck you. I don't have to answer that
I'm
question.
not gonna answer that. You're an asshole.
What about other countries that have laws against immigration?
I bet you wear a red hat all the time, don't you? Why are you asking me these questions?
I mean, it's so silly. I don't have a clue what the hell's going on. I don't know what day it is.
I know. All right, here's another fun character.
Helmets and masks. Are you expecting a feisty night?
Stay away from us.
No? You guys want to talk about what you expect tonight?
I don't speak to Zionists.
I wish I would have thought of the fuck Trump flag. You know how much money they've made off of those fuck Trump flags?
Yeah.
What else could we make? What could we make fuck Trump just to make some quick money? Think we'd do okay with coffee cups?
Coffee cups would be good.
I think we should. I'm not even kidding. I will happily take these fools' money.
How about water bottles that they can throw at people?
Water bottles would be good too. Could we make a bag of cement?
Yeah.
That says fuck Trump on it and
Fuck
add
Trump.
water to make it into a brick.
Fuck Trump bricks, dude.
Yeah. See, now we're talking.
We're getting somewhere.
See, we're looking. We started off looking at this as a negative. Now we're starting to see some real positives.
Yes.
Here. You know, look, this guy's got a wagon. How about a fuck Trump wagon?
People are so fucking silly. It is so funny.
I would love to do this.
At least, like, conservatives were a little bit discreet about it. They just came out with, like, the FJB hats or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just blatant fuck Joe Biden. They came out with FJB chants and all that kind of stuff, and it was good.
See, I'm for the bleed. I'll actually, this is going to fool you. I'm good with them saying what they think. I'd much rather know where and who my enemy is than have them keeping it hidden. I like knowing as I walk down the street that this is the guy whose teeth I should kick in if he even walks close to me.
Okay, speaking of
I like knowing that.
Right. Speaking of a guy whose teeth I probably want to kick in.
Yes.
John Drake checks in. If you have to wear a mask to hide yourself at something like this, you have no real conviction in your cause because you're clearly too afraid to attach your name to the cause. Absolutely. Let's see what else he says here, though. You see that all the time with those white supremacy rallies. Almost every one of those assholes is hiding their identity. Just out of curiosity, John, how many white supremacy rallies are you attending? And what is the size of your hood?
What do you mean attending? John's hosting.
I was going to say, he just puts them on, dude, right?
You know his band, Brother Believe Me? You know what brother he wants?
Oh,
White brothers in
White
arms.
brothers.
White brothers in hoods, baby. Brother Believe Me. The black people are bad. Just kidding, John. Maybe.
The only season tickets he has now are season tickets to white supremacy rallies. He gave up the Browns and for all new color helmet. Yeah, thanks, John.
He plays pool with all cue balls. All right, here's more of these fun folks at the rally. Woo! Yeah! Yeah!
My immigrant community!
My immigrant community!
Sucks a bag of dicks!
I mean, this is what Americans are supporting.
Yeah, this is what we have now. All right, here we go.
Hey, you became famous last time you talked to me. Do you remember that? If Trump just went after the criminals, would that change your mind?
I would say that if, there's a crime problem here with citizens, and most of the crime is committed by citizens. So I feel like that's not an argument we need to have right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. So even though he's going after some immigrants, some criminals, it's not the American criminals that we need to be conquering.
Yes. Yeah,
we need to let more criminals into the country and not do anything about it.
Let the illegal criminals stay here and get rid of the white ones, is what you're saying.
Great plan, Raggedy Ann. Jesus Christ. Nice glasses, cunt.
And again, I want to know, where were these fucking rallies when Obama was deporting 12 million fucking illegals that weren't criminals. Oh, by the way, I think it was like 2 million criminals, and then 10 million of your cooks, your dishwashers, your gardeners, and everyone else that the farmers are bitching about, but they want to keep their little handiwork going on and keep paying slave wages to people. Obama and Clinton took out a ton of those people.
You know
they
where
called
they were?
him the deporter in chief.
You know where they were? You know where all these people were? Minding their own business as they should have. Don't remind me that Obama did good stuff, but he did. Obama did some good stuff, and one of them was throwing out criminals.
Again, his nickname was the deporter in chief.
Yes.
What the fuck, you people?
Doesn't matter. This is Trump, man.
That's it. I swear to God, I wish Trump would actually come out in support of oxygen, because this dumb fuck right here on the screen would stop breathing.
Come on, Raggedy Ann's doing well here. All right, here we go.
Man, the only one of them who's not wearing a mask was the leader guy. And that was because he was very prominently displaying a huge gun on his hip.
Good. That sounds even better to me. If you're going to go out to one of these rallies, look like you got a purpose. Look like you mean business.
I'm trying to decide whether I'd fuck her or not.
Her?
I think I would. Yeah.
Might have to push her dick out of the way.
I would write Trump all over my cock.
Spray Trump and cum on her face. Big T on the top of her head.
Next. All right, go ahead. What do we got?
Pour that cum right into her hair and then make it look like Trump's.
This will be on the radio Sunday morning. This will be on church Sunday morning.
Yes. Praise Jesus and bring on the porn. All right, here we go.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the name Laken Riley?
No.
Of course.
She's a young lady in college that was murdered by an illegal immigrant. Do you think he should be deported?
I am not privy to any of this information, and I appreciate your time, but I'm going to stop this interview right now. Thank you.
What brings you out here today? What gets you fired up?
All right, I think this is a Harvard graduate.
Yes, I believe so.
Runs a major Fortune 50 company.
He is the CEO
Obviously.
of something. Yes, he is
Obviously, this is the CEO of Chase Bank.
Look at him. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, he's
and I wanted to talk because I look like the CEO of Chase Bank too.
He literally marched right out of the streets of New York City, Broadway area, in the Trump Tower. And he is a legitimate human being.
For any of you of my wrestling people, this guy looks like Mark Briscoe. Let me find me a Mark Briscoe picture real quick. We gotta see if this works. Mark Briscoe. See if they look the same. They do look the same. You are not going to believe how accurate I am on this one. So here's this guy. Maybe it is Mark Briscoe. And here is Mark Briscoe.
I think Mark Briscoe has a slightly better body than
Yes.
But yes, face-wise, he is absolutely a dead ringer.
He is Mark Briscoe. Where did Mark Briscoe go? They were the other guy. Where'd you go, dude? There he is. Share.
There he is.
Not sure that I hit the right one. This might be a wrestling video for all I know. All right, here we go.
Trump's doing.
To be honest, the main reason I'm out here is to stand on indigenous treaty rights. This land isn't even America to begin with. They broke every treaty that ever gave them any right to be here, and now they're mistreating the indigenous people of this land and calling them immigrants. These people aren't immigrants. Venezuelans aren't immigrants. They've been traveling up and down this continent since the beginning of time.
What's the cutoff, bro? I mean, seriously, what's the cutoff? I know y'all hate Columbus, but that was 1492.
Yes. Hello.
That was 600 years ago or whatever. 525 years ago, and you're still complaining about some change in law from 500 years ago.
Yeah, this guy doesn't know what day it is either, dude. I mean, he's still smoking he's still smoking whatever's coming up out of the ground. So yes, he does believe in the indigenous people. He's smoking the peyote of the indigenous people.
You know what? I really hate the Catholics because what they did during the Crusades was absolutely uncalled for. What the fuck? You know who's a real piece of shit? Those Egyptians, man. The way they use slave labor to build those pyramids. Fuck them. How far back in history do you want to go, you asswipe? Jesus Christ, 500 years?
People are just absolutely crazy.
All right, let's go back to Chief J Strongbow here.
Period.
Would you like to see just like totally open borders then? Like open borders?
I would like to see people back in connection with the earth, living in harmony with one another, and we don't need borders, we don't need a government, we don't need nothing, man.
We don't need borders, a government, or nothing, man. We don't need nothing.
Dude, it is shocking. What does he do at night? Like, what does he do to make a living?
This guy?
Yeah.
Sharpens arrowheads? I don't know.
I mean, seriously, look at him. You think he has a job, like something that he goes to on a day-to-day basis? He might work at the weed shop down the street from me, maybe. I don't know.
Dude, this guy, first of all, the weed shops are way more professional than this guy could get a job at these days. Second, this guy looks like, he literally looks like every single fucking stoner rock band guy I know. That's what he probably does at night. Remember when we watched that Lifers movie?
Oh, yeah.
This guy could play drums for any one of those bands. Yeah, good point, Jim. Good point. What does he do? He sells drugs on the street. Probably true. Dude, peyote will just make you free. It'll just make your life free, man. Ugh, what an idiot.
I want to hear more of him, though.
All right, here we go.
I can't help but hear this guy.
The ancestors didn't need it, no matter what color. The government, like,
Oh, this fucking guy is going to make me scream. The Indians that you are so proudly saying were ripped from their land, are you going to tell me that there was not a such thing as Indian Council? Are you going to tell me that there weren't Indian chiefs and people that did the enforcement for those chiefs? Do you know anything about the people that you're fucking praising, dickwad?
Dude, he has a doctorate.
They had their own government.
He has a doctorate in history, can't you tell?
I can tell. I mean, what the hell? Good Lord, dude. We don't need any laws. No laws, no rules. All right, here we go.
You're a real limited government guy.
yeah.
Cool, all right. Jeff Hunt, 710K in US, right in the middle of the No Ice Parade.
No fear, immigrants are welcome here, no hate. No fear, immigrants are welcome here, no hate. No fear, immigrants are welcome.
What are you here for?
I'm going to call the police.
Oh, okay.
Immigrants are
Yeah,
welcome
you're
here,
going to get brought up on assault charges.
immigrants are welcome here, no hate. No fear.
Hey, don't talk to him. You're going to ruin the image. Don't.
That little skinny fuck is going to be the badass?
Yeah, dude. I can watch these videos all day long.
But this is the guy that's going to be the badass?
Oh, yeah,
This guy?
Yeah.
You know why he walked up to that reporter? Because he's a little scrawny fuck.
Yeah, dude. If I took my leg off, I could still beat that guy's ass.
Do you think this guy walks up on me?
No.
This guy walks up on me. He's half that size when I snap him in half. Fucking bitch. I love these fucking false tough guys. Walk up on little guys. Come on, fucky.
I'm still getting bashed on face. I just got called Trump. They called Trump a pedophile and said that I'm a pedophile too because I like Trump.
Sympathizer.
Last I checked, Trump wasn't the one that was showering with little girls. It was Joe Biden.
Sniffing their hair.
Trump, but whatever. People are fucking... They're all insane, dude. They really are.
I know. Chief Homeless. I think it's Chief I'ma be homeless if Trump has his way.
Yeah.
Good point, Sipes. Good point. CEO from $1 billion company. There you go.
He has a doctorate in heroin.
These guys are a trip, man.
I've been seeing these videos all over the place today. 'Cause it's been, they're entertaining if nothing else.
Right.
But once again, they accomplished absolutely nothing. And I don't feel bad for them. I keep telling them, just enjoy the next 3.5 years.
Yeah.
You know when the protest was? November 5th.
Yeah.
November 5th was your opportunity. Was your opportunity to take to the streets. All you liberal dumb fucks. Your opportunity was November 5th to walk to your polls in unison, marching together, and vote for somebody other than Donald Trump. You had your chance. You lost.
Yeah, you didn't do it.
And
Sorry.
it wasn't stolen from you. There weren't polls that were shut down in the middle of the night. Everything was being watched more heavily than ever.
Mm-hmm.
You had a chance. You failed. Get over it.
Yeah, we sucked it up for your 4 years of your fucking brain dead guy.
And I wasn't happy about it.
So deal with it. This is our brain dead guy, if that's how you think. Still got 4 years, so fuck off. No matter what you think of the guy. You don't have to like him. You don't even have to think he's smart. But he is your fucking president.
Yeah.
Period. Just like Obama was my president, as unfortunate as that was.
Absolutely.
You want to talk about painful? That was every day waking up looking to break someone's fucking skull.
I mean, Obama's the one who started the divisiveness as it is. He's
Yeah,
the
he
one
did.
that started the divisiveness with the police.
Mm-hmm.
He had people hating cops. He had people ambushing cops. I don't know, whatever. I mean, I laughed at these protests.
Oh, I did
And
too.
these people are really angry. I mean, they're really, really angry. And over what? Dude, it's an election. It happens every 4 years. Get over it.
Yeah.
Maybe you're angry because your party is so fucking shitty and you have nothing to stand on. Your party enjoys watching men play women's sports and beat up on women. Your
Well,
party
yeah, but-
enjoys watching illegals pour into our country and take your jobs and do things that are like murder and rape our kids. I mean, your party enjoys watching drag queens and parade down streets and give stickers to children. And your party enjoys watching our children choose their own gender. The fuck are you?
Well, the thing that's crazy to me is they've got all this energy to go and march and blah 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 and protest and wear their little masks and have their little beat down booths and all this shit. Why not just use that same energy to leave?
Oh, yes. You don't have to stay here.
Yeah. Instead of
Rosie
protesting,
O'Donnell.
go to the place that's fucking heaven. Go to Spain. Go to Mexico.
Rosie O'Donnell took off to Ireland. From what I hear, they don't even like her there.
Of course not. She's still a fucking cunt.
And she doesn't even like it. I mean, get the fuck out.
But go ahead, move. Ain't no one stopping you.
Just like I could have moved if I wanted to when Biden was in office.
Yeah. So many of you promised to move once Trump got voted. No, you're all still here except about 4.
I didn't like Biden's policies. I didn't like any of them. There wasn't one that I fucking liked. But I do a show, so I'm allowed to bitch about it on the show. But you know what I did? Otherwise, I had to put up with it. I didn't march in the streets with fucking signs
Bitched
saying,
on Facebook.
get rid of this guy. I didn't do that much.
Right.
Because what the fuck good is it going to do me? The only thing I do now is yell at people that are bitching about Trump on Facebook. Because, again, it does nothing. It's not going to help you.
No.
It does nothing. You accomplished nothing. Over the weekend, he did nothing. Some guy sent me a message going, yeah, your president's parade is all fucked up and his birthday was all bad because he's protesting.
Was it?
I said, no, it wasn't. The parade was great. Trump looked like he had a great time. Everybody else that was watching it had a great time. You know, the patriotic people, the ones that actually care about the country, we enjoyed it. It didn't ruin anything. In fact, we're laughing at you.
Yeah,
You're a joke to us.
Didn't ruin nothing to me. I didn't even pay attention. I was like, I'm out of here. Hey, he's right. It does nothing as well.
I didn't say it did. But I'm not bitching about Biden. I wasn't bitching about Biden on Facebook. People post lies about our president. I'm going to go back at him. So what? And I'm banned anyway, so what am I going to do? Can't argue now. Well, whatever, dude. They could march all day for the rest of the next 4 years, dude. And it's not going to do anything. All you're going to do is waste your time. And they don't have any money, so they're not wasting money, I guess. The signs are provided for them. Look, Bob went out to one that was already done by the time they got there. And then there was another one. There was like 3 people, dude. Hey, okay, downtown Cleveland had a few hundred people. And?
Yeah, great.
Okay, so you had a few hundred people. Out of what? 400,000 downtown people? You had 400 people, okay? What'd you accomplish? Nothing. Nothing. You're not going to accomplish anything.
Here you go. Baby that got tear gassed. Thoughts? I have a thought. How about you don't bring your fucking baby to a protest?
Well, exactly.
How about that?
How stupid are you?
Yeah. How about that, Mom?
Mom of the
Mom
year
of the
right
year.
there.
How about you don't bring your fucking, what is that kid, 2? How about you don't bring your 2-year-old to a fucking potentially violent protest? You dumb bitch. They should just take the kid. That's one kid we should keep. We should keep him in the country because we take him for fucking child endangerment. Stupid bitch mom. And send her back. Holy shit.
I mean, well, why would you do that?
Why would you bring a baby?
Why would you take a child, a baby, to a protest?
Baby.
Where you know that there's cops, you know that this shit's going on, you know that there's tear gas. You brought a baby.
That's right.
She should be arrested immediately.
Immediately.
She is the John Drake of mothers.
Well, you know,
Did
they're
anybody
also protesting against bombing Iran.
Yes, I don't understand this either. Look, I spent an hour.
Yeah.
On, I don't know, what day did the bombing begin?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the day the bombings began. That night, I spent an hour on a Zoom call.
Right.
With rabbis throughout the world, actually. At midnight, our time. And I was listening to these rabbis talking, Hebrew and everything else, and some in English, and there were translators and stuff so we could understand everything that was going on.
Sure.
But I got invited by a world-renowned rabbi that comes on our show every now and then. He sent me a text and said that this is going to go on, and he was explaining everything that's happening. And we're talking to some people in Israel, and I was talking to a guy who's actually in the IDF, and he was saying to me, like in real time, he was texting me, and he said that in the Israeli defense, whatever force, he was saying that they just told us to lock down, and we're talking about the IDF, and he said, we're hearing sirens that we've never heard before, and we're told to just stay in place, hunker down, and we're going to be on the move soon. And I was like, well, prayers and stay safe. But I mean, this country has been on the defense their entire existence.
Mm-hmm.
And if they didn't do what they did, they're going to be eliminated. And there are people, Republicans and Democrats in this country, that think that that's okay.
Sure.
The fucking maniacs. Who are these people? Iran is a terrorist organization supporting terrorism all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
They want to eliminate a race of people. And they're standing up for themselves. They're making sure that it doesn't happen. And now people hate the Jews. Who are you? Again, I was hearing some of these people talk the other night on the Zoom call, again, around the world. Some of them are terrified. They're scared to death about what's going to happen next, about the retaliations. But they understood that it needed to happen.
Yeah, they better worry about their what is that? Was that called the Iron Shield or whatever?
Yeah,
because that shit clearly did not work.
Look, it worked. It can only work to an extent. I mean, you can't stop everything. They're launching a barrage of ballistic missiles, man. There's only so much you can do.
True.
But if it stops a majority of them, I think that's good. I mean, we're supposedly getting the Golden Dome here. They have the Iron Dome. We're getting the Golden Dome.
Oh, are we? You pay more attention than me. I don't even know.
Well, that's what Trump wants, is the Golden Dome here. And I mean, I think it'd be a little bit more tough to do because we're much bigger piece of property than over there. But look, man, I don't understand. I don't understand where this hatred comes from. You know, Hamas and sympathizers on college.
I'll tell you where the hatred
It's
comes
the
from.
left.
The hatred comes from that little program that you open up 400 times a day with an FB on it. That's where it comes from. Social fucking media.
Yeah.
Yes. We didn't have these problems back then. U.S. went to war. Everybody just shut the fuck up and stood by it. Few lunatics would protest. Look how long it took before they started protest in Vietnam. What, about 6 years? We were in that shit like 5 or 6 years before they started protesting that.
Yeah. Well,
now it's like, fuck, you know, organized bullshit on X or on Fuckbook or whatever. Crazy.
Like, I can't get behind hating the Jews.
I say hate them all.
Anti-Semitism.
How about hate everybody? You don't have to classify them. They all just suck.
I guess.
That's the easiest way.
John Drake guy.
Yeah, he's a pain in the ass.
But I mean, seriously, I don't understand. I don't understand the. You know what the sad part is? A lot of the left are Jews. They're even angry. I don't. Whatever.
Doesn't matter. It's not what's being preached to them, so it's not what they're spewing.
Personally, a lot of from what I've heard and what I've been reading lately is that a lot of the Iranian people don't like the regime that's there. So I don't want to see Iran turned into a parking lot. But I mean, did you see some of this technologies that they have?
Who, the Iranians?
No, the Israelis.
No.
I mean, the first strike that they had, the first night of the bombings, they eliminated some of the, IGC? I don't know, I can't remember.
Okay, whatever.
And then one of the, couple of the bad guys, let's just call them bad guys, from Iran. And literally these missiles would go through like the window of the apartment building straight into the fucking bedroom of these dudes, blow their asses up. And the rest of the building was fine.
Wow.
These guys have technology and stuff that is just unbelievable. The last time they fucked with Iran, they got a hold of like their pager system or something like that and blew up all these pagers all over.
Yeah. I remember that. They were blowing up the pagers that were in people's pockets.
It's amazing what the kind of technology that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these missiles went right into the fucking bedrooms. Take these guys
Doesn't that
out.
scare you that every one of us walks around with a fucking phone in our pocket?
Yeah. I guess if somebody really wanted to send a missile through the window of the office here, they could do it.
It wouldn't be very hard to fucking hit up Verizon or AT&T or whatever and say, give me the phone numbers of every phone that tweets pro-Trump or texts pro-Trump stuff, and then set a bomb or something in them. Wouldn't be that hard at all.
Oh. I guess. I don't know, man. I would love to get somebody on. I wish somebody could come on from like the Army like today and talk about like what kind of technology the U.S. actually has.
Yeah, they'll never do that.
I mean, you had a glimpse into it, didn't you?
I did. I was an Intel guy. I was an Intel analyst. That's what I did.
I mean, I can only imagine how it's
way different now.
Since then.
I'll say this.
I mean, can you say any of the kind of technology we had back then was kind of like groundbreaking for the time that you were there?
A lot of it was. I mean, a lot of it was definitely. A lot of it is now. I was in the military till from 86 to 92, I guess it would have been. And not only was I an Intel guy, but my now ex, she worked at a base that developed technology. That's what the base that she worked at did, was develop the technology. So it was not uncommon to go out and see new weaponry or new, advances. And, I'm trying to think of one I can actually talk about, because
I saw one that somebody
that you're not allowed to.
Somebody had shown us. I can't remember who it was, but it was back when I was on TAM, and there was a guy that showed us some cloaking technology that the
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, to the point where, I mean, I don't know how they did it, but it looked like the fucking desert was sitting there.
Oh,
you
yeah.
didn't see a troop. There was fucking 500 guys that were sitting there with guns and whatever kind of, jeeps and shit that they had, and it looked like the desert was there and nobody was sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing, the kind of technology that I saw just years ago that somebody showed me, and I was like, holy shit, dude.
Well, without saying anything specific, I'll tell you this. We would go visit the various bases. Me and General Livesey. We would go visit the various bases. And his staff. It wasn't just me and him. It was me, him, his staff. We would go visit the various places around Korea. And there were some places that we visited. Let's just say half a mountain would open so that we could get in, or you would roll up on what was seemingly nothing, and then you would drive down, and then you were in a missile silo or something like that for nuclear missiles and shit. It was impressive, but it was weird. You went through when you went in, it was like you went into a whole nother dimension, not just world. Like back then, I'm going to be careful how I talk about this, even though it's 40 years old, it shouldn't matter. Back then, we used the oldest technology. I don't even know if I want to say what it was, but day to day, we were using what would be the green CRTs that you used in the 90s and whatnot, the text, the early computer stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we had that shit in the 80s. We had internet. We had internet back and forth in Korea in 1987.
Oh.
We used to send messages. It wasn't called email back then. I think it was called BBS, Bulletin Board System or something. It was something different, but we used that to communicate, and it was so different of a technology back then. Like, we used to have to go into the SCIF, the Secure Compartment Information Facility. It's a lockdown information place that you had to have a specific security clearance in order to even walk into it. You would go in there and you would get a tape off of a machine, and the tape told you how to program, at the time, what was a modem. They didn't call it a modem at that time, but it was a slide-in card, and it had a bunch of toggle switches on it.
Yeah.
And you would take this thing out and you'd look at this tape and you'd be like, all right, number 2 is 31, number 3 is 16, number 4 is 8, and you'd set it all up, and then you'd plug this bitch back in, and it would either light up green or light up red. Green meant you made a connection and you were good for 24 hours or 12 hours or whatever it was. Red meant you were wrong, or that the code had expired or whatever. It was like an early fob. But it was this was 1987, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We were still at barely into cable TV at that point.
Right, yeah.
But yet over there in Korea, we had some shit. And believe me, we had tons of drills of, if there is a call for a nuclear fire, how do you make sure that it's not fake? What are the backups in place? How long can you take in the backups in place? Who signs off? Who turns keys? Who holds keys? There were so many rules to it and so many things. And that's back in the 80s. I can't even imagine what it's like now.
Yeah.
I could tell you this, as far as weaponry, though, there were more than a few that I heard of. I didn't know anybody, but I heard of, that would test weaponry in California and would end up getting honorably discharged because they got a piece of their hand sawed off by the weaponry that wasn't quite right.
Wow.
They'd hold a special kind of a gun or a machine gun or the one that I remember hearing where a guy lost his arm was one of those, the early sound, I don't know what those are called, that project sound.
Yeah.
But it's so loud it'll break windows and stall cars, and there's almost like an electric current that comes out of this shit.
Like an EMP kind of thing?
Yeah, sort of, but it just does sound. And they would roll them out on They would roll them out on APCs. We rolled them out in Qatar and Iraq, where we would go into a place where we knew there was people, and we would just fire up these things. I mean, making all this fucking noise, and people would come running out because with their fucking eardrums bleeding and stuff because it would blow their eardrums.
Wow.
It was so fucking loud. But I remember when they were testing one, the force of the sound blew it off its mount and took a guy's arm right off with it.
Wow.
You know, and I remember hearing about it. I remember my ex coming home and saying, "You're not going to believe what fucking happened today." I was like, "What?" She's like, "This guy lost his fucking arm."
All right, you're an intel guy. Are there aliens?
Are there aliens?
Yeah.
None that I saw.
But there's a place where they actually have stuff that you don't know if there's aliens or not.
Yeah, I guess. I don't, first of all, I don't believe that it's in Area 51. So, I think Area 51 is a very convenient, puts it on the map and gets all the loonies to go out there. My hunch is if there is truly an alien study facility or something,
yeah,
it's on this coast. It's over here. It's in Philly. It's in Washington. It's as far away from where they're telling you it is as it can be to get everybody to go over there and go to Pahrump, Nevada, and visit all the fucking Art Bell shops and whatnot. You know, that's what they're doing. They want it all out there. They want to control, and you got to think like the military does. What is their main job? To control chaos. What's the easiest way to control chaos? Tell people it's over there instead of where it really is.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's kind of, I've always thought, I have no proof of that at all. I've never been to Area 51, you know, nor have I ever known anybody that says they've been to Area 51. But I don't believe it's there at all. I can't believe that you would have something so top secret that nobody knows anything about it when you have 500,000 people a year that go visit it. 500,000 people a year go visit that place, and not one person in 50 fucking years has ever snuck on. Do you really believe that?
Do you think that our government and our military is secretive enough to keep all these things away from everyday Americans?
Yes, totally do.
I mean, like you talk about weaponry and stuff like that. Why hasn't somebody been who's just pissed off with the military left and said, I'm going to tell all?
A lot of jail time behind that, man.
Or do you think they end up worse than that?
You can get executed for that. I mean, that is treason. That is the definition of treason. When they do tell all, Edward Snowden, what happens to them? They spend the rest of their life either in hiding or catching a bullet somewhere when they're asleep. You know, you can't, dude. Had this one guy in the military. I won't say his name, obviously. And it's funny we're talking about this because it's the same thing. Those tapes that I was telling you about that you set the modem things with.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Maybe he got busy or something when he's working. He just stuffed it in his pocket or something. Went home, took it out of the secured place. Got caught because the lady that washed his clothes turned it in. He went to jail.
Wow.
Like they yanked him out of Korea. One day he was there. The next day he was not. Wow. And we were like, what the fuck happened to him? And they were like, he was found to have confidential or, secure material outside of a skiff. And they fucking took him down. He's probably still he's still making license plates.
But see, that's what I always wonder about when it comes to like conspiracy stuff, like whether it's 9/11, whether it's JFK, whether it's whatever it is. And you sit there and go, how many people know about this shit and didn't say anything? I don't believe, I'm being honest with you. I have a hard time. I've seen a lot of evidence. I've talked to quite a few people that are in the field of study when it comes to landing on the moon.
Okay, yeah.
And part of me seriously believes that I'm not sure that we ever went there, or at least when we said we went there, because there's a lot of evidence from people. Again, I've talked to some experts on the whole thing. Bob did a whole hour-long show with a guy that is an expert on the moon landing.
Sure.
And when you look at a lot, sometimes I think, well, I don't think that actually happened. There's a lot of evidence that says this did not happen. But then you sit there and go, how many people have to be in on that fucking secret that nobody said anything since it happened?
But here's the thing. People have said it, but they've discredited them so badly that nobody, same with JFK. Anybody that says anything other than fucking Oswald did it from the 6th floor of the book depository, first thing comes out of your mind, oh, what's your conspiracy? That's the first thing that they've conditioned you to say is this guy's a conspiracy theorist. Same with 9/11. Dude, me and you have both watched the same videos over and over of the plane where the wing disappears right before it hits the building and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
We've all watched that stuff. And what happens? What happens with it? The minute you say it, you're a conspiracy nut.
Right.
And I'm not saying that you're not a conspiracy nut if you do think that. You know, the weird thing is those, I saw that too. Those that believe in this stuff, they really believe in this stuff. Like Scooby said there, Eric believes pretty much everything is a conspiracy.
Right.
If you were sick last week, that's clearly the government trying to shut you down.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, he believes we did last week on the Ferrantino show, on the Chris Akin Presents show. We did probably 45 minutes on why the Space Shuttle Challenger did not blow up and how the astronauts are still alive today.
I saw a TikTok video.
Some of them using their real names.
I saw a TikTok video where it shows where the astronauts actually are today.
Yeah, well, I think we probably played it.
Yeah, you probably did. But
we probably played it. And again, do I believe that? My truth, and I sound like a liberal faggot saying it that way, but my truth is I really don't care. I don't care if Christy McAuliffe is dust or living in Utah. I really don't care.
I understand.
It doesn't affect me.
I understand why you say that, but at the same time, don't you want to know why they would hide it? Why they would, why would they fake something like that? I understand why you fake a moon landing because you're trying to. There's a space race going on with other countries, China or whatever, Russia. But I don't understand why you would fake a space shuttle explosion for what?
Space shuttle explosion? Well, they faked the one. If it's fake, not saying it is.
We're not saying it is.
Not saying it is at all. But if it's fake. You took the one time when they got lax with space study. You got to remember the time, and you got to look at the whole picture, not just boom. You know, you got to look at this was at a time when space shuttles got to be common. You remember, and you may not remember, I think you're probably too young. Your dad would remember this, but
who?
Stop. When a rocket left to go to orbit the Earth or go to the moon or whatever, it was a huge event.
Well, yeah.
It was on every TV channel. Then they talked about it incessantly for another week until they came home, showed the landing, showed everything else, showed all this stuff, right? Well, by the time the space shuttle was doing its thing, and it really wasn't going anywhere, it was just flying around.
Right.
You know, by the time the space shuttle came, they weren't even putting it on TV anymore. It might have been on CNN, the launch or something. So what did they do? They made a big deal about, we're going to send up the first ever civilian. We're sending up the first ever civilian up there. So now you got all the people that have quit on the space program suddenly interested in it again. And for those that still weren't interested in it, about half of them had kids. So their kids were being fed it because it was a teacher. So you got probably 100 million people interested in that space launch. And then it blows up. And then it's like, ooh, the space program is still important because we saw what happened. And think about it. It stayed important after that explosion for how long? Another 15 years or so?
Yeah.
Stayed like every time it launched, it was on all the news channels again. They built interest for it. Now, if you want to really tear this down and go, why would they do that? Why do they need that interest? Why do they need that? It's so that they can hide the money. NASA and civil defense takes more money than anything else in our government. And if you've got people that are like, well, we just had our 7 heroes blown up, spend any money to fix it. Spend any money to fix these O-ring problems or whatever. You know, nobody questions think about it this way. So, see, you're playing right into what I do know.
I'm sure.
Take this into just consideration. You're sending a thing up on 10 zillion gallons of rocket fuel, literal rocket fuel, right? And the only thing keeping it safe from exploding is a rubber O-ring, a piece of plastic that you could go and buy today at Lowe's for about $1. You're going to tell me that they need, that if this is the technology that they're using, we had a failed O-ring, a failed piece of rubber that probably costs, let's be generous here. What do you think it costs the military to buy that? $10,000?
That's being generous, I would assume.
That's probably being generous. But $10,000, what do you think when it goes bad, what do you think the value, if it's $10,000 for that part, what do you think the value becomes to build a better, safer part? $1 million, maybe $2 million. Now multiply that by every system, every part, every bit of the space shuttle. You're talking billions of dollars that they can hide because there's not going to be any oversight looking at it. There's not going to be people going to the streets saying, hey, where is all this money going? All they're saying is, we can't have another one of our people blown up again. That's what they're saying.
Very interesting.
And I could be full of shit too.
Yeah, but it makes a lot of sense what you're saying.
Well, I just observe. You know, I was trained by our wonderful army to observe and make conclusions on things. And that is the conclusion I have. And for what it's worth, I don't necessarily even know that I believe that we did not land on the moon, to be honest. I hear all the stuff about this. It's a weird thing because, like you said, it's awful hard to keep everybody silent for 60 fucking years.
Right.
At the same time, there are a lot of things that don't make sense. Just an obvious one. How come every meteor we've ever seen is some weird shape? Looks like a potato that was grown around a tree. But the Earth is the most perfect circle that you'll ever see.
Oh.
It's the most perfectly round ball. Not even a little lopsided or nothing. It's so perfectly symmetrical, and therefore it can rotate without any weirdness that happens from one side or the other, falling out of line. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Especially after a Big Bang, right?
Yeah. But every other planet that we find, when these zillion-dollar telescopes go out to another galaxy and they find another planet, that shit looks like you threw a bag of Legos against the wall.
You're right.
That's what it looks like. It looks goofy. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if any of it's real or not. I know what, as a former Intel analyst, I know what I was trained to look for. And when I see all this kind of shit, I look past surface level. I don't look at these protests even and say, oh, these people are mad about this. I look at, how does this benefit the midterms? How does this benefit financing certain things? How does this make it harder for Trump to get this or that passed? I
agree with that.
But that's how everything
Yeah.
is. Everything is, there's no such, I'm a firm believer that there is no such thing as a truly random act. I just don't believe it. not something that affects a country or a nation. There's no random act. It's all got a bigger picture. 9/11, whether you think it was real, fake, state-sponsored, 19 random Joes, whatever you believe on it, you cannot argue that it completely overhauled how we travel, how we integrate with people, how we judge people, what we allow. You know, it changed everything about this country and the world.
No doubt. But you're right. I mean, I totally agree with you on all this stuff. I mean,
it's crazy, man. It's a crazy world.
They call stuff conspiracies, but behind every conspiracy, there is some truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I love the flat Earth guy.
I love the flat Earth guy. He's great. I don't believe everything he says, but
he makes you think.
He does. Well, and that's all you need to do is think. That's always that. I remember that when I was in AIT going through Intel school. That was like literally first day thought was, whatever you believe, don't listen and think. That was like they taught us that day one, and then we spent another 8 weeks learning how to do that. But that literally was day one, was whatever you believe from what you see, don't believe it anymore. Only believe evidence. Only look. Only watch. Only, make smart predictions, and then take those predictions and play it against what somebody else is saying is their prediction. See which one makes more sense. If you continually evaluate information that way, you narrow it down kind of quickly. You narrow down the good from the bad.
And I kind of agree with Brian on this. Like, they do a lot of stuff to keep your eyes moving away from what they're actually doing.
Of course.
And so you don't even know how much I don't even know how much I believe in the transgender and all this other bullshit that they're pushing on you, whether they actually believe it or not, because I think they are. Here, watch this over here while we're doing this over here.
Dude, there's no other way. And again, I'm speaking out my ass somewhat on this. So if somebody wants to say, Chris, you're speaking out your ass, go ahead. But do you ever notice anytime there's anything of significant relevance, we get a murder of some random nobody that becomes national news? John Benet Ramsey. What was the girl that allegedly Gary Condit killed? That girl.
Yeah.
Whatever her name was.
Right.
I don't know. There's tons and tons of examples of it. This weekend.
There's one that takes over the story.
Yeah, it takes over Scott Peterson. Scott Peterson and little Connor Peterson and whatever her name. Lacey. Who had great tits, by the way.
Absolutely.
I know I'm not supposed to ignore it. I'm supposed to ignore that because she's a victim, but victim with tremendous titties. But I mean, they do that. That's what they do over and over and over. Casey Anthony. Why is some woman killing her kid 6 months of media interest?
Right, in Florida, in the middle of nowhere.
I guarantee you,
it happens all the time.
I guarantee you, somebody killed their kid within 50 miles of us yesterday.
Right.
But it ain't national news. Why?
Somebody got murdered during the show, most likely.
Yeah, probably. But it's not national news. No. Why?
They pick
because it doesn't have an importance. They've got their right now, today, they don't need a rando dead. And they don't need to divert our attention because all of our attention is diverted on these fucking No King Days. How does a thing like No King Day spread to every city in this country in a week? You think that just happened organically?
No.
Or do you think there was some controlling factor that?
Well, I mean, they list sponsors and stuff, but even still, I never even heard of these sponsors. A lot of these sponsors were like fucking professional protesting groups.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it spread like wildfire because somebody wanted it to spread like wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Nicole who ended up sponsoring one in fucking North Ridgeville that decided that she was gonna do the No Kings fucking bullshit. Somebody spread it to all these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a very good one too. The OJ trial. Dude, go back and look at everything that happened in 94 and 95 politically. OJ, that was 95, right? That was still Clinton? Is that correct?
I think so.
OJ, Clinton started shutting down all the bases in the military. You had for the first or second time when they were allowing not having the budget. I believe it was right in that time frame when
95.
95. So you had all kinds of governmental shit going. Do you remember anything of 1995 other than the OJ trial?
I do not. No.
I don't either. Who was the baseball champion or football champion or basketball champion? Remember, they interrupted the basketball championship for the OJ chase. Who were the teams?
I couldn't tell you.
There you go. How many times has that been on everybody's TV? 1 million?
Yeah.
I know one of the teams was the Knicks. I have no idea who the other team was. And I only know that because I think I saw some video of John Starks talking about being upended by the OJ trial or the OJ running or whatever. Well, I agree with Brian on that. Sydney Sweeney, there's two big reasons to be distracted.
Fuck them.
Liv Morgan with her great little dumper. Mm-hmm.
It looks like it was the Magic and the Rockets in 95.
Oh, was it? Okay, maybe it was the playoffs. I don't even remember.
Rockets won the final.
Did they?
Yeah.
See, that should tell us.
Proves your point.
Yeah.
All right, real quick on Sydney Sweeney. Fuck them.
Fuck
Tell you what
Sydney
happened to
Sweeney?
me? No, I want to fuck. No. I went to buy her bathwater soap.
Yes, sold out in like seconds.
And I just got another message today saying, "Is there anything else we can interest you in?" I said, "No, I want Sydney Sweeney."
No, I want the soap.
And they're like, "Well, we don't have any." I said, "Well, then don't keep asking me. Go away."
Yeah.
If I wanted something else, I'd go to your stupid website and get something else. I don't want anything else. I want Sydney Sweeney's bathwater that I can pour into my mouth.
Yes, and gargle.
Soap or not, dude. Let's go.
Well, there might be a new one for you to be looking for. The Blake Monroe soap.
Really?
Are you into
Blake Monroe?
She is the actress formerly, or the wrestler formerly known as Mariah May. But she just debuted in WWE.
Okay, now I need to see her.
Yeah, she's hot as fuck.
Does she have soap?
Well, here, I'll show you a picture of her taking a bath.
All right, yeah, I'll take the
Would you buy the Blake Monroe soap?
I'd buy the bubbles on top right there for
That's what I'm talking
$100.
about.
Let's go.
What's funny is that handicap handle next to her looks like somebody's pointing a gun at her.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty rough there.
Get in the bathtub, bitch!
I literally would take a squeegee to her body and just get whatever I could off of it and just have that forever.
Not gonna lie, she is a freaking 10+.
Yeah, that's all right. No,
She's beautiful, man.
But I'm kind of sad about my bathwater.
Well, you get the Blake Monroe. They're gonna release more. Come on. They made $100,000 in like 6 fucking seconds. They're gonna release more.
I'm kind of tired of news. I can't afford anything anymore, dude. I didn't tell you what happened today, did I?
Mm-mm.
So we're leaving. Let me tell you this saga.
Okay.
Real quick, because we got to get out of here in like 10 minutes. My wife, we decided we're going to go on vacation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we decided we're going to go on vacation like 3 months ago.
Right.
And we're going to Tennessee. We're leaving for Tennessee on Saturday. And it's our 20th wedding anniversary coming up the following week. And we're going to spend a week down in Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Smoky Mountains and stuff. And it's going to be great, hopefully.
Right.
Oh, Jesus, dude. Come on. I'm trying to tell a story again. By the way, I was not knocking on wood. That was my cock.
So you were knocking on wood.
Not with my hand.
Was your dickhead hitting the underneath of your desk?
So we decided we're going to go. We're going to drive down there, whatever. And we're leaving again on Saturday. So 3 months ago when we decided this, she goes, I want to rent a car.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure about my car.
Sure.
So I want to drive a better car so we can get down there and back with no problems.
Okay.
I said, fine, no problem.
Makes sense, sure.
But a rental car is going to cost me like an extra $400, which I really didn't want to spend.
Sure.
And so my wife, now less than a week before we go on vacation, said, I don't want to take the rental car anymore.
Won't you lose your deposit?
No, we didn't have a deposit down or anything.
Okay.
We had it reserved, but we didn't have a deposit or anything. And I said, what are we going to do? She said, I'm going to take my car to Charlie, have him check it out, and make sure it's roadworthy enough to go to Tennessee.
Gatlinburg or wherever, yeah.
And I said, okay, Jesus Christ, dude, we're cutting awfully close here. We're leaving on Saturday.
Right.
So she takes it to Charlie today, right?
Right.
Seth, let me just tell you, you need 4 new tires and all new brakes. I said, get the fuck out of here. I was like, well, how much is this going to cost me? $850 now that I have to fork out today before going on fucking vacation in 4 or 5 days, dude. I said, you couldn't have waited just till we got back? Look, couldn't we have enjoyed our vacation, then got fucked? Now I'm going to have to sit here and worry about $850 coming out of my pocket when I'm trying to go have a good time on vacation. So I'm starting a GoFundMe account for Wednesday's show.
Right.
Super chats, subscribe to Minds, anything you want to do to help with the anniversary fund, because now I have no money to go on vacation with.
Maybe you should be selling your soap.
Or maybe I should.
Your bathwater.
Sell my bathwater.
Anybody out there want to buy Seth's bathwater?
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, she's a fucking knockout, right?
Maybe I should ask her to go on vacation with me, because she would have the $850. I guarantee you, her car doesn't need $850 worth of work before going on vacation.
Guarantee you not. She just signed a new 5-year deal. She's making bank.
Cuba says, scrub off all that makeup. She's probably a 4.
Nope, not that one. Not that one. She is a 10 plus, man.
Cost me $450 for 2 measly tires recently. Ridiculous. I know. I mean, I got $850 today, dude.
Couldn't have waited on that?
No, because she said the brakes were so bad that if we went down to Tennessee, they would have been squealing by the time we got down there.
Couldn't.
And I can't take my car because I can't drive
with the rental car.
No, because then what? Then I come back and then I'm sinking $1,250 into just cars alone.
That's true.
But she's all right, dude.
Yeah, she's a 4 without makeup. Get out of here. She ain't no 4 on any level, that's for sure. Well, that sucks.
Yeah, it does. It's like, but hopefully it's going to be ready. I can't drive my car down there, dude. My brakes are still making noise. I told them I've had my brakes fixed 3 times in the past week, 2 weeks. And you know how much money I've spent on cars in the past month?
Yeah, you spent a bit.
But I can't drive the hand controls for 8 hours straight down in Tennessee.
Right. So you got me now in Blake Monroe territory. $6? What are you, crazy?
Below the neck, it was a 6, like standard.
That's a 9. That is a 9, maybe an 8.5 without the makeup.
I don't know, man.
She's a straight up hottie.
I'm at the point in my life where I watch Facebook Reels and I go, my God, that's a 10.
You're looking at some actual supermarket 6s going, I'd fuck it.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, oh my God, look at that. Like, I'm serious. I'm watching some girl who's got braces and shit, and like, she looks like a hot fucking mess, dude. Literally looks like she was rolling around in the dirt of a farm somewhere. And she goes, I'd suck a cock and you'd never, it'd be the best day of your life. And I'm going, 10. All right, she's good.
See, anytime I see braces, I'm like, click off.
I was like, I couldn't even understand what she was saying. Her mouth was so full of fucking metal. I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I don't care. My biggest fear is that you look at that and then 3 years from now when they need to shut you up, they're like, you were looking at kiddie porn. Here's the proof.
Like,
and you got no kind of alibi to that.
It's a Facebook reel, dude. I can't.
So?
Dude, what it's not naked chicks.
I just don't want no. I'm afraid of it.
Tiffany Stratton is a tranny.
Yeah, I'm not big on her either. Honestly, she's got kind of a man's face. A lot of people love her, though.
I don't know who this is.
Tiffany Stratton? Tiffy time?
No, the one that's on the screen now.
Oh, Maurice? Yeah. Maurice that's fucking top notch.
I don't know who she is.
Terrible at sucking cock, though.
How do you know?
Watch video.
Well.
There's definitely a porn of her sucking some dick. She's awful at it. She's one of those that just kind of.
How could you be awful at sucking dick, dude?
Because she only works the head.
Oh.
She doesn't work the shaft or nothing. She's just one of those that fucking has like a 1-inch movement. She's not real good at it.
That's not bad. So they're both on our Edge Sport 2300. Look, that's why I don't have an expensive car. Finally about to pay this damn thing off.
And drive it for another 10 years.
It better last another 10, yeah.
Much money as you've put into it the last couple of the last year or so, it should last you that.
Well, luckily, my car is paid off. So.
There's Maurice.
She's all right.
That's the Mrs. wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a fan of her. Maybe the hairstyle's drawing me off a little bit.
You ever watched the show that they did together, Ms. and Mrs.?
No.
She looked really good in that show.
I'm sure I wouldn't complain.
Right up until then, she gets knocked up, and then it was like a whole season of her being pregnant and fat.
Then forget about it.
So that was terrible. It was like, shit that kid out already and get back to being hot.
All right, time to wrap this thing up. I want to appreciate it.
It's the quickest hour and a half ever.
It did, went quick. Thanks to all the liberals for providing entertainment. And
that's right.
Thanks to everybody listening today. We do appreciate it. God willing, we'll talk to you on Wednesday. Wednesday's show could be pretty big.
Could be.
Nothing definite yet, right? We're not saying anything yet.
No, we are not saying anything yet about either the comical guest or the musical guest.
But there could be big stuff for Wednesday. We'll keep you informed what's going on. So watch the socials, if you will. Of course, on Facebook and whatever. And we'll let you know what's going on. But I do appreciate it, and God willing, we'll talk to you on Wednesday. Have a good one.
All right.
You got
See
it?
ya. Yeah, I got it. See you, folks.
Yeah. Later.
Seth Williams loves this land, stands tall and proud. Believes in freedom, speaks his mind out loud. Mentored by Trip, he learned to be tough. Life knocked him down, but he got back up. Lost a leg, but he's still strong and true. Chasing dreams under skies of red, white, and blue. Voting for Trump, he shouts it clear. WTAM tried to bring him down, but he's still here. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. Hates LeBron James, won't wear that crown. Prefers hard work and blue jeans in this town. Radio waves try to shut him up, but Seth keeps singing, filling that cup. From the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell, for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. From the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell, for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air.